everyone, welcome to today's video. I think this week really is going to be kind of a quote-unquote standard video from me, and we're just going to catch you up with what I've been up to in my book over the last few days. For anybody watching one of my videos for the first time, in 2025 I'm primarily working in a hobonichi A5 size. I've got the gingham hun. That's the gingham hun. I've got a plastic cover on it. This is one from Midori as opposed to one of the hobonichi covers. Alongside that, I do also work in an A6 book currently. I'll just show you quickly. The book that I'm working in, that's the A6, is a Muji one. This is the book that I keep my daily task list in, and I would say it's like the less interesting of my books, so I don't tend to show that as much. That's not going to be the focus today. I keep it at the moment in this navy hobonichi cover. It's a lovely size for it, and it means that I can keep dot stickers in here, loyalty cards, that sort of thing. So yeah, you've got that context. As far as is possible, the hobonichi is my big book of everything, but there is a little bit of overflow into here. I do also have a couple of hobonichi notebooks at the back of my setup to show you. There we go. We've got these here. I've not yet had to make use of them, but they're there and ready. And with my book, it is part planner, part journal, part commonplace book. So I'll show you what I've been up to in the last few weeks, and I feel like that will help everything come together. Gloomy of the week, I'm not sure if this was the one that I had in last week as well, but I'm still feeling the vibe, is this one from the sort of Halloween / ghastly collection. I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, apologies if I'm repetitive, but I have a pair of pyjamas that are like a skeleton outline, and I've been wearing those a lot recently, so that's kind of part of why I like this particular figure. Something maybe to mention, Megan of Megan Rhiannon drew up this 2025 summoning square for her patrons, and I've stuck it in this first page, and I've already been able to mark off a couple of the goals, or things I wanted to make sure I got done, so that's nice. And I'm using stars to mark what has been done or what has been achieved. Those are from Paper Chase, from when that was operational. So it's nice to see that starting to fill up. I've also added a Paper Chase star to cover up January, now that that month's over. And I like the idea of adding those in as the months go by. I don't really make use of this space from a practical point of view, so having a little bit of decoration that sort of grows and develops through the months will be a nice way to do something with it. We've got my Calendex here. It's not 100% up to date because I've got an additional couple of entries, but this sort of demonstrates to you kind of a lot of what I'm going to be showing. The Calendex, for me, in my system, is an index of the subjects that I've written commonplace entries about. So I'll show you when we get to the dailies, but the top portion of the page is a commonplace, and the bottom is my sort of daily journal entry of what I've done and where I've been. So the dates correspond to the entries. And if something is longer than a page, then I'll just use this, draw a line here and the dot for the last page that the entry is on to demonstrate how long it is. Okay. So I suppose just to finish off January, so you can kind of see what the last look of January looks like. I mentioned last week, I think, that I wanted to add a bit more decoration into the calendar pages themselves, because from a decorative point of view, it was looking quite blank last time. So I've added a couple of bits in. The snowman was already there. We had a snow day. I've added this calendar in because it was sort of during this week that we were doing a lot of signing of contracts, lots of paperwork around moving house, so it felt kind of pertinent. They're both from Megan Rhiannon. I've got a Nintendo Switch sticker here on the 26th because we played some Mario Kart with some friends on that date. And then I've got one of Megan's coffee cups here because I had a coffee from my local coffee shop, my new local coffee shop for the first time. So it almost is like commemorating that. And we've got my updated mood tracker. So the beginning of the month was like really stressful, so that's why we're here. We moved house and things markedly improved, and then I've kind of like leveled out, so it could be worse. We've got February, so I've had quite a few appointments going this week. We've got some stuff later on in the month. I use these dot stickers to indicate tasks. Tasks are in brown, social things are in dark green, and then appointments are in a pale green. I've actually had a couple of things change, I think, so I'm just going to update very quickly. My partner and I were going to go to an open mic tonight, but she's not feeling very well, and I'm just going to cross these because we did do those tasks. And I'm just going to check the date. Yeah, okay, so my mood tracking is up to date. So yeah, this top sort of corner here is blank at the moment. What I tend to do is I try and find a quote at some point during the month that relates to that particular month and pop it in. I've got my mood tracker here, bit of decoration down here. This is one of my stickers from my summer sheet. And then I try and have like a short-ish to-do list here. Things I need to make sure that I remember to do at some point during the month. Generally speaking, at the minute, that's just making sure that I do my coffee reward for my members on there. I'm not decorated for March yet. I might do that in the next couple of weeks. As you'll see when we get to the weekly pages, I've been really enjoying just like picking a theme for a spread and doing the decoration. And I try not to do it too far in advance because I like to go with the mood of that particular week or month. But then I'm also sometimes feeling a bit torn because I like being prepared and having things ready to go in advance. So this was last week in the weekly spread, so this is how it's turned out. I'm just going to underline this list here because I tend to do that. So the theme for this week was kind of utilising the purples and these cool tones, and I think it went quite nicely. In the sort of first week or so of doing these weekly spreads, like this first week, I feel like I was very focused on trying to fill the space as best as possible, that it ended up looking quite messy, whereas actually I realised I've preferred a bit of negative space, a bit of room for everything to breathe. So there's gaps here, you know, it's not as decorated as it could be, but I feel like the composition of the page is quite nice. So it's kind of a vaguely, it's like plants and witchy stuff. That's kind of how I would describe it. And then this is the current week, and I've gone for a black, white and red kind of vibe here. So we've got the numbers at the top are from Morin Kunst. The spider web sticker here is from Bones and Blankets. I'm not sure if that Etsy shop is still running. I think I saw something on their page a few days ago to say that they were winding things down. So if they are still running, worth having a look if you like your kind of ghosts and Halloween things. They're based in the UK. They're quite local to me, actually, it turns out. And I really like their stuff, so worth having a look. This tape here is a Stacey McNaughty one. I might not be pronouncing her name right, let me just check. 15th of January, right. This is me putting this into practice. It's probably the first time I've actually kind of used that reference. And here we go. So it's from Stacey McKeevy Court. There we go. And we've got a couple of other bits and pieces in here. This is a sticker from Georgia Journals that she gifted to me when I met her a few weeks ago. And I've decided that I would utilise her month stickers on like the first full week of each month. So for example, I went back to the January one, and this is like the first full week we've got of January. So I've added that in here. There's that bit of space, and the pinkish red ties in nicely with these stickers as well, I think. And you can see I've got a couple of images pinned here, just because These are pictures that go very nicely with like the vibe of the page, but I don't want to stick anything down in case there's any like last minute changes. Just cross this out because, like I say, we're not able to go. So I'll probably end up adding some or all of these in on like maybe Saturday evening or going into Sunday, when I know that we're pretty much sort of settled for the week. And then I've done a bit of prep for the next few weeks. There was a morning a couple of days ago where I had a medical appointment and I had to take my medication like quite early in the day so that it was in my like bloodstream for the relevant time. And because I was up, you know, my brain was awake, so I wasn't going to get back to sleep. And I also wanted to do something that wasn't going to disturb my partner, because she needed her sleep before going into work. So I just sat at my desk and did some stuff, and it was a nice, almost sort of meditative thing. I quite like journaling. I quite like being awake when the rest of the world is asleep. It doesn't happen loads, but there's something really peaceful about, you know, the hours between like 4 and 6 a.m. There wasn't a theme as such for this week. I wanted to utilise this washi. One of my siblings got me this for Christmas, and although technically we're moving into springtime, where I am it still feels very wintry. Today was like a perfect example of that. I've opened all the windows up, and it's like really icy and frosty, and we're due snow in the next couple of days. So these wintry animals and plants felt like a good choice. And also kind of, I wanted to make use of it now because, you know, during the summer, it's going to be a bit daft maybe to use this sort of tape. So use it while I still can, kind of thing. Then I added a couple of stickers in with some fungi and some flowers. This one is from Marigona Suli, and then this is a Marin Kunst one. And then just in this column that often gets left kind of blank, I've done like media related ones because I do my media tracking in this corner. So I've got a record player, and that's a Marin Kunst sticker. And then I've got a Animal Crossing gift on a balloon. And this was part of a set that my friend got me when he visited Japan. And then this little leaf here. I smudged the ink, so I was like, oh, I'll just use a bit of decoration to cover up that. So that's another Marigona Suli one. I'm not sure where the washi tape's from because it was a gift. I'm contending with a bit of noise from trains, but I'm going to carry on unless they like toot their horns, because otherwise I'm going to be here all day. So apologies if there is any of that noise coming through. For this particular week, I wanted to use this Killer Views washi. I bought it, I think, November time. I placed an order with Killer Views, and I've not really used this particular one very much. I tended to lean towards the grey and the black ones. But yeah, I wanted to use it, so I laid that down, and from there I kind of used like warm and brown tones. So, you know, where I've highlighted the days of the week here, I've used my mild liner. I've got this to-do sticker from Flying Tiger, and this one was Flying Tiger one as well. And then I kind of like the idea of, because we got the skulls and bones here, the idea of it almost being like, I was thinking of like Dr. Frankenstein's lab. So we've got the, like, I was going to say sample bottles, that's not quite right. Kind of like, you know, like, you know, you can imagine like jars of eyes and jars of various creatures. I've got that there from Killer Views, and the heart from Killer Views as well. This is a Bones and Blankets cobweb again. They're so nice for like framing a page, I find. This is a Marigona Suli candelabra, and then these like media related stickers are from Megan Rhiannon. I quite like using these icons for the media tracking. I don't do it every single week, but it crops up a few times. At the moment, you know, the only thing I know I've got in for certain this week is a doctor's appointment, so that's just there. But I tend to fill out the week on the Sunday before, but because, yeah, I was up early and doing it anyway, I just thought I'd pop it in. We got this following week, so the grey tape we've got here is Colour Cafe Socket, but I'm pretty sure my stationery pal do as well. We've got a couple of Megan Rhiannon stickers here. This is a Killer Views one. This is Marigona Suli, the sort of pink moon. This little ghost, the ghost was kind of the prompt for the sort of colour scheme and everything like that. I wanted to use that, and I like these sort of ghosts on the plant. It kind of looks like snowdrops and bluebells, and because we'll be getting, you know, quite a way into spring at this point, it was like a nice way of having something that felt like fresh and springtime, but was also still like Halloween-esque and ghostly, you know, like a way of having spookiness and gloominess all the year round. You know, that's what I kind of try and achieve with a lot of my decoration. And then this little star banner here is one of mine. That's from this same sticker sheet as the cherries that I showed you before. It's labelled as a summer sheet, but really it's kind of, the images on it are universal, I find. And then the last of the weeklies that I've decorated for now is this first full week of March. So I've used this Marigona Suli tape, and it's a similar vibe again in terms of, you know, the pink and the purple feel very like fresh and bright and springtime, but the imagery on there is, you know, black cats and pumpkins and skulls and that sort of stuff. I had a little bit of spare tape of that grey one from the previous page, so I've just added that for a bit of like additional layering. These moths are from Killer Views, and I think those are quite nice ways to accent the pages. I like when people do it with like stars and buttons and that sort of thing as well. Hopefully I don't have anything going like bang on this time. Like, it's still workable, but I was a bit conscious of maybe being overconfident laying stuff down, so I've kept it kind of minimal. We've got the Georgia Journal sticker because this is the first full week of this month, and then this is a Moran Kunst black cat with a couple of spiders, and although the illustration style is quite different between Marigona Suli and Moran Kunst, I feel like it paired really nicely with the tape. And then we've got those icon stickers from Megan again here. So yeah, I did a couple of weeks worth of those. And then if we get into the daily pages, I'll just have a think about where we were last time I showed you my pages. It took me a minute to remember where we were because I was like quite far ahead with my daily entries, and then there was quite a bit of blank space. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sort of flip back and forth, I think. So daily pages, you know, here I filmed, so I've got the film icon here. I've got a little light bulb here, which makes me think I had a bright idea of some sort. Just reading it, I'm not sure why I've put that. Never mind. This daily entry, I added these stickers in with it. So we've got like a plant, almost like, I kind of think of it being like someone's maybe collected some plants and they've got it on a tray to kind of examine it. And then this sticker from Megan, which is a membership card for the Gloomy Kids Club. And the reason I put this is that I received a bus pass from my local council. So again, just for anyone who's like not watched my videos before, I'm autistic and I have another like health condition and some other stuff that's like being investigated. And in the last few months, I've been having real challenges like getting any support from like government / local government, and receiving this bus pass was like the first thing that I had where it was like, yeah, you're eligible, no problem, we'll get that sent to you, where I wasn't having to like argue my case loads or get into some sort of battle. So it kind of, that in itself felt like an achievement, but then receiving it, I just realised loads of relief about how much that's going to support me being able to sort of get out and do things. So yeah, I wanted to kind of commemorate that, and you know, because it's like an ID card, it kind of looks a lot like the bus pass in a way. I've got a tip in here, and this is something that I'm hopefully going to do in future months as well. Because we're coming to the end of January in these pages, I wanted to capture what my archive on Tumblr looked like for the month of January. I think for me, and doing my book in this way has really helped cement this. I think for me, looking at what images I've been drawn to and, you know, liked enough to like reblog or pin, you know, if you're looking at Pinterest, when I look at my archive month by month, it really helps prompt memories about that month and how I was feeling and what I was feeling inspired by. So I wanted to capture that and have that almost like frozen in time moment. So I just grabbed the screenshots and did it so that I could like fold it in half and, you know, got the images on both sides. On this day, I had to go to the doctor's, had a bit of a walk between like my doctor's spread across 2 different sites, and I had to do one thing at one site and another thing at another site. But I tried to make the most of it. So on this day, I didn't utilise the bus pass just because of like where I was. By the time I'd walked to a bus stop, I might as well have just walked to the second place I needed to go. But I tried to kind of make the most of it, even though I was in some pain, and took some nice pictures. So like here's a picture of the local canal. We've got my February sort of mood board, which last week I said I was going to show you and then I forgot. So I'll just talk you through this quickly. Here for the month, we've got a Megan Rhiannon sticker. This blue shape in the background is from a calendar that I had last year. So I had a wall calendar last year, and each page had an illustration that was generally like flowers in a vase, and it was quite bold and graphic. And what I did at the end of the year is, if there was a particular colour or pattern or shape that I liked within those images, rather than just like bunging it all in the recycling, I cut them out, and I like the idea of using them in future projects and things. And there was something about the shade of blue, this sort of periwinkle blue, that I really liked, and I thought the curviness of it made it a nice contrast to, you know, these very sort of square and rectangular images that I've got here. So I feel like it balances things out nicely. What I will say though is I probably won't do the same thing in future months, because with it having been on the calendar, it's quite thick paper, and for the few days after, you know, when I was, say for example, writing this page, it was making things a bit difficult to write, and it will be contributing to bulk. So I'm probably not going to do the exact same thing again in the future, but it's fun, and I do like adding bits of scrap or junk in. The tape again is that Stacey tape. The images we've got here, I'm not going to go through one by one, but largely we've got like calm wintry scenes. We've got coffee tables with books laid out. We've got someone holding a rabbit, and there's something there about like hibernation, softness, gentleness, etc. that really appealed to me. We've got a zine here that someone's making. I'm currently making a zine myself for the first time in relation to disability and like tools for accessibility. So putting that there, because that's kind of going to be like one of the main projects I'm working on this month. And then we've got this yes no part here. So last week, I think it was, I discussed the fact that I'd read Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, and I'd done used a couple of pictures from the book in one of the spreads, but I have this one left, and this idea of making choices seemed pertinent because I've got a lot of change and things going on at the moment, so I've added that in as a bit of an accent as well. This following page, I was kind of feeling out of body and in between, so I tend to use some sort of ghost imagery to capture that vibe. So we've got this ghost picture that I found on Tumblr, and then a few different accents. So this sticker's a Papershire one, this is Killer Views one, the little star is from Megan, and then this ABC is from Oliver Mabel Co. in their collaboration with Bronte. This day, I just wanted to use these stickers basically from John Turner. And then I got these books here from Maureen Kunst, because I started on this day going through my 2024 Commonplace books. I think I did a flip through of everything, so I'll put the card up for that. But I went through those books because there were a number of entries from them that I wanted in this book as well as reference points. And that's why I've done as much commonplacing as I have in the last few days. So yeah, this pile of books. On this day, I've got some washi back here. I think that's my stationery pal. And this bird, this is from the ransom letter book. So as well as all the letters, there's some stickers at the back of this, different images. We've got hands and dice and lightning and hearts and balloons, all sorts of things. I'd met someone on this day that had a swallow tattoo, so it was just a nice, like, the image of it stuck in my head. And then I've got a tooth here because first thing in the morning, I think I was up quite early again, but this time I was in a position where I could make some noise. So I sat and had my breakfast and I listened to the record by Boy Genius, just kind of sat and listened to it through without any distractions. So that's kind of, I associate teeth with them because of that tattoo that they've all got, and show on the front cover of the album as well. So here, just a little bit of decoration. We've got this blood here, which I got from the Sticky Club Midnight Tarot set last year, and this skull I think is a Bones and Blankets one. That's just here because I had a blood test in the morning, so it's literally blood. Decoration on this page was, so yesterday, last night, my partner and I went to Wagamama, and I knew in advance what I wanted to get because I checked the menu, because that's the kind of person I am. So we've got and I can't pronounce this very well, but the Karibarusu ramen and their vegan K-dogs, which I'd never tried before, but I wanted to try. In the end, because I've got their app, we had some free edamame beans as well. And what else did we have? We had some gyoza, and we did have pudding as well. We were feeling quite celebratory. We'd been wanting to go for a good few weeks, but then everything with the house move just kind of threw us into a bit of chaos. And then for today, we've got a bit of decoration laid down already. So this is a Yoshito Minora piece, and I got for Christmas it's like the Great Artist sticker book. I'll grab it. Here we go. It doesn't all fit in frame, but the Unbelievably Fantastic Artist sticker book. And the reason that's in here is this evening my partner and I were due to go to an open mic and she was going to perform, but she's poorly. So this isn't actually going to happen, but the sticker is quite thick. I'm not going to attempt to lift it. When I put it down yesterday, I did think to myself, what if something happens? What if we don't actually end up going? I don't think it's the end of the world. I'll just have, a shorter entry for today. I might add a couple of accents that are more relevant to whatever does happen today. So yeah, that was a bit of an error on my part, but never mind. And then if we flip back, I'll cover the sort of commonplace style pages. So I think we've probably, in terms of the commonplace, finished up around here because it's my quotes from Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. And you can see those other images that I've picked from the book. On this page and into the next, we've got a quote, well, not a quote, it's the whole thing, but it's What Resembles the Grave But Isn't by Anne Boyer. Decoration wise here, we've got one of Megan's gravestones and like a gold disc and a star. On this page, just in the margin, part of what Anne Boyer says in I don't know if it's a poem or just a piece of writing, but it reminded me of some lyrics from a Manic Street Preachers song, so I then put that quote in the margin space. And we've got the remainder of the quote here. I've added a picture here from the Yellow Submarine film, which might seem a bit weird when it's talking about graves, but essentially the quote is about, falling into a grave and getting back out, and that cyclical nature. And just the image of the Sea of Holes came up, and the idea that they were like falling into holes and getting back out, but falling again. I think there was a parallel there, so I've kept that in. And there's just a small separate quote here that Wouldn't have necessarily like warranted the full space of an entry, but I had that blank space so I could add it in. This page we've got, I decided to write out the lyrics from Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius. It was in my head a lot and I was looping it, and a lot of the time when I think about commonplacing, you know, it's my current interests and things, but I've done it in my own way since I was a kid, really. And one of the things that I did used to write out a lot was song lyrics. I would, you know, when you get the leaflets in a CD that have all the lyrics in, I'd copy them out quite a lot. So it's almost like returning to my roots in a way, doing that. And then we've got a bit of a sort of collage going on here, kind of related to like my feelings when I listen to the song, but I just feel like they work nicely together. So it's a couple of images grabbed off Tumblr. This disc, which I realise I've done on, I tend to try and spread out my use of these, but I think because I've got the tip in here, it's not too bad. And then this tape from Stacey as well. Here I've got Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. This reminded me of another Manic Street Preachers sort of reference. I don't know if the Manic Street Preachers were referencing her poem or not, but it always reminds me of it. And then I've got this sort of mountainous landscape sticker from Stamped and Sealed Co. as well, because that kind of imagery resonates with me when I think about this poem. I've got another poem here called Think of Others by Mahmoud Darwish, and there's a bit in here that talks about like when you're getting your groceries, think of other people who are in need. So I've got this sticker from Megan of groceries, some washi tape, I think this is Colour Cafe, and then a couple of buttons just kind of accent it, from Olive and Mabel Co. with their collaboration with Bronte. Not loads of decoration on these pages because I've already got like quite big stickers down here. Last year I did a lot of commonplace entries about research papers to do with autism, and obviously they're all like relevant and important and stuff like that, but my interest in copying up entries from last year wasn't to copy all of them up. You know, if I want to go and find something specific, I've got the box just next to me. But this one in particular, so there's a paper called How Autistic Adults in the UK Use Time Alone for Wellbeing by Neville et al. And just realised that whole et al thing is such a like, it's just such a British way of pronouncing it. But anyway, there was this idea in it of a life cycle almost of reacting to stimuli, retreating from it, regulating, and then reconnecting and going around and around like that. So I kind of wanted to capture that because it's like a kind of an important reference thing for me. And then the article also set out when the participants were interviewed about the idea of, you know, what is a safe space for you, what's a safe environment, there were key themes that they listed, and I just wanted to have that listed here. Got a quote here by Yuri Salugawa, and that quote reminded me of a Sylvia Plath quote, so that's in here. And, oh yeah, and I've just used a bit of tape here from Stacey because I had this awkward space because of how I decorated that. So I feel like it just sort of breaks the page up quite nicely. Over the next few pages, I've got some information from a book called A Natural History of Ghosts by Roger Clark. So as part of that, I've got a couple of screenshots from the others here. I had printed off those screenshots in like November when I was going to rewatch the film. But for whatever reason, I didn't end up doing it. And I just thought, it's a perfect place to put it in. Got this flower sticker. This was a freebie when I ordered from Miso Paper, so I'm not too sure where it's from. And some washi here that's like, collage newspapers and scripts and things. Where's that one from? I think that was in a Miso Paper order, so I'm not sure if they still stock it or not. And I've got it again here. I quite like using almost having the same motif across pages, so that even though you look at this page in isolation, you look at that page in isolation, they don't necessarily match or look alike, but there's similarities. So I've got the tape across both pages, and then I've got these stamps across both pages as well. This is a John Turner one, and it's ghosts, so it's an article about ghosts, that's why I've used that. Got a picture of Lady Jane Grey in here. Again, this was something I'd printed off late last year for a different Commonplace entry. I think I'd done it in the wrong size or something, so I printed it bigger, and then this was knocking about. But the book references, so I was able to use it. And we've got this floral sticker here from Stamped and Sealed Co. I wanted to add some more ghost stickers in, but I wanted something a bit different, so I've got these cat ghosts, and these are from the Midnight Tarot set that Sticky Club did last year. Oh yeah, should mention, I've got the tip in here because my partner and I watched Patience. So it's a Channel 4 show, and it's a police or criminal archivist who's autistic, who ends up helping her local police force solve some crimes, and it's based in York, which is where I went to university, so it's really nostalgic for me. And I did a collage on the back here, a couple of screenshots from the show. I wanted to make sure I included this because you can see the landscape in York really well in the background. I just used this picture that I previously printed out of these really stimmy fairy lights, and then we've got a clipboard sticker here from Stamped and Sealed Co. Got a chessboard here, because there's a lot of discussion in there about puzzles and problem solving. That's a Marigona Suli one. And then these letters are from Oliver Mabel Co. in their collaboration with Bronte. Here we've got a definition of Hyrith. Again, I might not be pronouncing that right because it's a Welsh word. I speak a little bit of Welsh, but not much. And then we've got a really beautiful forest landscape here. I didn't have any pictures on hand of Wales, so this is actually a Japanese landscape, but the vibes are very similar. And I've got these Polaroid pictures from Megan, and the idea of photographs and memory and ghosts in their broader sense and nostalgia kind of fit. I've got a couple of quotes here from a book called Entangled Life by Merlin Sheldrake. So we've got a couple of bits of stickers here from John Turner where I'd ripped it but messed it up. So I just thought I'd use them for a bit of texture. And then this sticker is from Killer Views. Oh, I forgot to say, this eucalyptus is a Stamped and Sealed Co sticker. We've got another Killer Views mushroom here. And then starting on this page and going down to the next few pages, I've got quotes and information about writing and Commonplace themselves. So I've got some excerpts from the Wikipedia entry about Commonplace books, along with this Stamped and Sealed Co sticker here. Just some thoughts about how they define commonplacing versus what it means to me. A quote here from To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and another bit of collage here. So we've got this sort of William Morris-esque tape. We've got a Marigona Suli sticker. We've got this image of a phantom person that I found on Tumblr, and another John Turner sticker. There's a bit at the end of this quote that talks about being a wedge-shaped core of darkness, something invisible to others. So this phantom, the idea of the core of darkness and invisibility, the phantom is in a dark environment, so you can barely see them. So that's kind of why I picked that imagery. I've got a quote here from the series Unfortunate Events film that came out in 2004 that has always resonated with me, about Sanctuary. And I've got some more of that washi tape. We've got a sticker here from Sticky Club with a cat having fallen asleep on some books, and a picture of a really nice house. I put those in initially because that was evocative of the idea of Sanctuary, but then I also had this kind of awkward space here, so I decided to print off the screenshot from the film from when the narrator is saying the quote, and a couple of stickers. So we've got a Megan sticker here with some hair slides and a compass. I can't fully remember. But I'm not 99% sure that at some point during the film, Violet Baudelaire uses a hairpin to pick a lock, so that's why that's there. And then the compass, there's a number of instances in the series of Unfortunate Events book where they're having to navigate places, so that's there because of that. When I was writing out these Commonplace entries, I accidentally had like these 2 pages sort of stuck together and had to erase a bunch of stuff up here to try and rejig everything and make it fit. So I took the opportunity to make another like collage type thing. So we've got some washi here, we've got a Stamped and Sealed Co sticker, got one of Megan's stickers, and then it's an entry which is some excerpts from Honour Keeping a Notebook by Joan Didion. And I tried to kind of keep these themed with the idea of like letter writing and notebooks and that sort of stuff to fit that. The next set of quotes is from Unmasking Autism by Dr. Devon Price. So I've got a couple of my stickers here from the Glimmers set. Got a few Devon Price quotes. Just got an image here of 2 schools sort of merged together and a Megan sticker. I kind of get drawn to this image a lot whenever I'm talking about like psychology stuff. Just because it's about the mind. This isn't really relevant, but I just thought it might be quite a nice way to accent the page. This is from one of my sticker sets again. I've got this pinned here because it's 14th of February this day, and my partner and I don't celebrate Valentine's or anything like that at all, but decoration wise I like to just have a little something, and I like the black, white and red here, and the information at the bottom says remember when you wanted what you currently have. So it's an opportunity, I think, maybe on that day when I'm writing, just to reflect a little bit, have a bit of gratitude for the love I do have in my life, whether that's like romantic or otherwise. So that's there for if I want to stick that in on that day. We've got a quote here from the Bell Jar, and it's when she, if you've read it, when she's talking about the idea of all the different routes and paths she could take in her life, and she uses the imagery of a fig tree, and she's sitting at the base of the tree and looking at the branches, and the longer she spends contemplating it all, the fruit rots and drops to the ground, and then that opportunity's gone. So decoration wise here, I've got a like classic illustration of figs and how the tree sort of sprouts, along with a sticker from Stamped and Sealed Co of a typewriter. Next I've got a poem which is called A Letter to a Friend, and this is by someone called Ren Coloni, and it's about their experience as a transgender autistic person. So I've got one of my Glimmers stickers here of pyjamas and comfy clothes, and a sticker from Sticky Club of some candles, because it talks about sensory comfort and the joy that you can get from like stimming, and they talk about, like, the specific quote here is if the dance of a candle is music to your eyes. So yeah, that's there. Quotes from Things I Want to Talk About by Pete Warmby, so another one about autism. Got another one of my Glimmers stickers, because he talks about being in a monotropic state and the piece of engaging with your special interest, organising things if that's what you enjoy doing, alongside a Paper Shire sticker of a ghost. I think it's just because of the idea of like peace and quiet, and then the ghost is almost like the disruption to that. I've got an entry here about lesser known senses, so we've got talking about the vestibular sense, proprioception and interoception. Having that information in that resource is always helpful for me. I do have it on a separate piece of paper that I can access, but it's good to be able to see it here. And a bit of decoration to go alongside that. So we've got a heart from Killer Views and a water bottle from Moraine Kunst. So, it's all interoception in particular. So that's your internal sensory system, and it's based in the organs, muscles and skin. Your heart obviously is an important organ of the body, so that's why that's there. And we've got the water bottle here because it is responsible for thirst, hunger, temperature changes. So if you're thirsty, you drink water bottle. Next up, I've got some quotes from Mary Shelley. So naturally, I had to put Frankenstein's monster here. It would be a travesty not to. So that's a Megan sticker, and then this cobweb sticker, I think it's more in Kunst one. So I thought that framed things nicely. Next, I've got some information about In Bulk. Again, I might not be pronouncing that right because I've only ever read it. This plant sticker is a Morin Kunst one, as is this one. And yeah, I had 3 lines of space here, which wasn't going to be enough for a quote or anything. So I've just used this washi. I got this years and years ago, so I've no idea where it's from. And then this pestle and mortar with some herbs in it. That's from hobonichi. Here we've got some quotes from The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This first quote talks about this kind of fantasy they have of being anonymous and living in a city. And one of the things they mention is the idea of working in a coffee shop. So we've got this coffee machine from Stamped and Sealed Co. And then we've got a quote towards the end here that talks about ghosts. So we've got a ghost sticker. That's a Bones and Blankets one. And something I'm conscious of, particularly as we're getting to these later pages, is I've got a number of blank spaces here. And the idea is that I might add more decoration on the actual day, or as and when I see other quotes, shorter ones perhaps, those can just kind of go in the margins, or I might have further thoughts about the quotes and those can go in there. We've got a quote here from Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I don't really like what I've done here. I might be able to take it back up, but I feel like there's going to be glue residue, so I might just live with the fact that there's hundreds of pages in this book. Not everything's going to look perfect, and try not to think about it too much. I had another bit of awkward space, and I was trying to kind of frame things nicely, but it didn't quite go as I'd hoped. So we've got a Rossetti painting here, and then the ghosts. I used this image a bit earlier on as well, and then this sticker from Tiger that says "Good things take time." The Gillian Flynn quote was kind of about grounding oneself and comforting oneself in moments of stress and panic. So this sort of contemplative figure was the first thing that came to mind, and then I saw this and the tone was kind of similar. I'm not fully sure what's going on. I'm going to try not to think too much on this page. And then this entry here is some notes from my tarot reading for February by Chris Corsini on Instagram, and the text took up quite a lot of the space, but I wanted a little bit of decoration. So we've got a sun sticker here and an all-knowing eye here. That's from that Ransom note book that I showed you before. And then here I've begun an entry on the Falling Water House, copying up some information from Wikipedia. I started writing this and then we went out for dinner last night, so I've not finished. And then the images are pictures of the book with a Megan sticker here. So my plan with the Commonplace is to largely ignore the dates on the page. However, what I tend to find is that some of my Commonplace entries are pertinent to the time and date that they're released. So for example, that tarot reading, it's a February tarot reading. I want that information somewhere within the February pages. So I have done a lot of Commonplace entries in the last few days because of that copying up from my other books. So what I'll be doing, I think, is finishing up this Falling Water one, and however many pages that takes going into March. And then I will probably be utilising my Overflow Commonplace book for any further entries. I think what I will probably be doing, I've got some dust here that's bothering me. As and when I go to write the particular entry, I think I will consider whether it's like time sensitive or time linked in that way. If it isn't, I think I'll probably just stick it in the main book. You know, if it's one of the scientific papers that I read, for example, it doesn't really matter where that sits. But if it's something that's February specific, that's potentially when I would go into the overflow. And what I thought I'd probably do, it's just occurred to me actually, is on the Calendex pages, let's find them, is if I am having to go into my overflow, I can list what's in the overflow in this box at the bottom. So I've still got that reference point, you know, I can go to like overflow book 1, page 3, or whatever it is. So I think that's how I'll make use of it. Like I say, I'm really loving using the book as I am. I'm loving how visual everything is. I think I get pulled in 2 different directions where I want to lay my brain out on the page, and I'm a really visual person. I can't sort of emphasise that enough. So having all this imagery laid out in front of me and not just on a computer screen, there's something about that makes me enjoy the practice a whole lot more. And it's got me feeling like brighter in myself, and more creative, more inspired, I guess. But I do also crave like neatness and minimalism and that kind of thing. Like I keep seeing at the moment, like people in A6 hobonichi books where they've got like to-do list and a gratitude on the page and maybe like 1 sticker, and that's really appealing in a lot of ways. Not that I'm going to suddenly like get an A6 because I've got my, you know, small book at the side here. I could do a similar thing in another book if I wanted to. But yeah, I always feel kind of drawn between those kind of 2 extremes. It's good to kind of have space for both, I think. So yeah, I think that's me for now. We've got a lot going on in these pages. I think Commonplace wise, there's a few articles I want to read and write up, but I think Commonplace wise, I'll probably be like chilling out a bit now, because my hands still hurt from all the writing I've done in the last few days. So maybe next week's video is more going to be focused on the sort of daily entries at the bottom here. And I guess do let me know if you want to see what's going on in this little A6. It is mostly lists, but when I look at Instagram pages and stuff like that of people who have more practical spaces, less decoration, I still find that interesting in itself. So yeah, let me know about that, and I'll feature it next week if anyone is interested in it. All right, I will sign off now. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye bye.